me to stand up? Is that better? I see you now. I see you now.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to 360 Info Network. I'm Vince Robinson. We're having a few technical difficulties, but we will push through them. Our brother Lynn Hampton is actually on the air with us, and we also have our guest is Sharon Arjay Johnson, and we're going to get into the show as we continue to make progress with the show. Today is probably one day before the last day of a Mercury retrograde, and I know y'all get tired of hearing this, but it seems that it happens to us this way so many different times. And once again, here we are. We're going to do a show regarding sound frequency today. So we have a very special guest with us, and we're going to be dealing with this topic a little bit more in the future because it's just so important for us to understand how sound affects us in various ways. There are things that we can do to use sound to our advantage. And then, of course, there are things that are being done that use sound to our disadvantage. So we're going to talk about the ways that sound can be used effectively to promote healing in your body and do great things for you. We are living in a world that is based largely on frequencies and vibration. So we're going to be talking about frequency and vibration. We're going to be talking about color. We're going to be talking about some things that might be of a metaphysical nature, so to speak. Also, just want to let everybody know that we're streaming live to Facebook and YouTube. So you can also see our program if you go to the 360 Info Network Facebook page. You can go to my Facebook page. You can also go to my YouTube channel, and you can go to Lynn Hampton's Facebook page and his YouTube channel and access 360 Info Network. With that said, it would be of tremendous benefit to yours truly if you go to my YouTube channel, like the channel, and subscribe to it. And if you're so inclined, make a comment. We do what we can to provide useful information to you. So you can go to that YouTube channel, you can like it, you can subscribe to it, you can hit the notification bell, and you will get notifications when we are going to go live. And as you know, I do this program, 360 Info Network. I also do some radio shows on another radio station that I won't mention right now. But again, I do the best I can to bring you quality information and things that can be used as a resource to improve your life. Also, just want to bring you up to date on Larchmere Arts and specifically Kwanzaa. We're going to be doing a Kwanzaa tomorrow at Kings and Queens of Art Palace is down there on 34th Street between Superior and St. Clair. I think it's 1385 uh, East 34th Street, the Art Palace. That is my art partner Gwen Garth's place, and we're going to be hosting the Kuumba Kwanzaa tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So you're welcome to stop by. We're going to do some of the traditional Kwanzaa things, and we're going to have a little bit of food to eat for you. And we're going to look to have a good time tomorrow. So that is at the Art Palace, and I believe it's 1385 East 34th Street. I'll check that address and make sure that I drop it in the description for this video when we complete the broadcast. So with that, thanks for joining us on 360 Info Network. And with that, I'm going to bring into our broadcast our partner, Miss Sharon Arjay Johnson. She's someone that I've known for a few years. She is involved in quite a few things that involve healing in the Eastern type of modalities. She's also into Reiki, and we'll talk about Reiki today. But we're also going to talk about sound, specifically sound frequencies. And she does these amazing things with the sound bowl. She also has tuning forks, and she's just doing what she can to make a difference in this world. Uh, last year sometime, Sharon, you were at the Beachland Ballroom. It was an
Yes.
event that involved the Assembly for the Arts, and you actually conducted a sound bath on that day. And I just remember so vividly that it was a time in that program where people had snacks and things, and they were eating, and there was conversation. But then RJ started those sound bowls going, and then it got real quiet, and people got kind of introspective, and we had this nice, peaceful vibe that was going on at the Beachland Ballroom on that day, and it was largely because of what you did. So, thank you for that, first of all,
Yes,
and
thank
also
you.
thank you for joining us today on 360 Info Network. You know, we're winding down 2023. And last week we talked about real estate and taxation, and it's a good thing to have awareness about those things because you can optimize your real estate and your finances when you're aware of those things. Today we want to get to something that is of a spiritual, mental, and physical nature, and that is
Mhm.
sound. So with that, we will welcome you to the program. We also got our technicals worked out, so we're welcoming Antonio to the broadcast as well. And we're going to jump into this whole idea of sound and frequency. And hopefully, those who are watching and those who are listening will take something away from our broadcast today that they'll be able to use and perhaps have a very impactful impact, if I can use a double entendre, so to speak, an impactful impact on your life. Welcome to 360 Info Network, RJ.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I am
All
so happy to be a part of this and just spreading the love and the joy of energy.
okay.
Vibrational sound is just my way of life.
Okay.
Yes.
So talk to us about how you got involved in sound therapy.
Well, through Reiki and dealing with frequencies and yoga, I just enjoyed all the modalities that was associated with it. And sound therapy has always been in my life with drumming and because I do drum and having fun in such nature. So I was fascinated by the sounds and the 425 megahertz sounds with the colored bowls attracted me. I cannot believe my little kitty just got on my table. But come on, Mink. Uh, but and seeing how it coordinated in all facets of our life. Sound helped heal children um, with the tuning forks and the bowls. Uh, and it's done throughout schools and hospitals. And for me, it was just something that I wanted to try. So I purchased the whole set of the bowls right as the pandemic started. And I had them so I was able to, play with the C note in the root chakra, the sacral with the D note, the solar plex with the E, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the B with the crown chakras. And finding out how extended it was the key to it. So I developed like balancing tools to help balance the chakras because it's a constant flow, a vortex in each center of our bodies from starting at the spine. It's called the root chakra, and the color is red, and it's I can. It's all about what we do for stability and having security in our life. So I wear red when I want to feel good. I have it on in my house. I associate it with my food. So it's so many aspects of how it can help you, with your and even in affirmations to, set intentions and when I pray to my ancestors, I tune it up first and then play. So I've enjoyed the meditations and the essential oils. I created a whole set of each chakra in a 5-piece skincare collection with aromatherapy, essential oils, and lotions, body gels, mist sprays, and a lovely kit for all the chakras, and I love the jewelry. I was fascinated with jewelry, so I incorporated. So I'm like a total chakra experience. Just to say a
Okay.
few things.
All right. Talk to us about where you acquired the knowledge about the chakras and how sounds coordinate with the chakras. Can you give us some insight on the course of study that gave you the knowledge and the understanding that you have?
Where there were online classes that I took that helped me to energy medicine. I have my book right over there, but I was going into energy medicine and working with meridian points. And all of it coordinates with the vibrational energy in your chakras. So I studied it when I became a Reiki master. You know, there was parts where there was Reiki incorporated in that, in energy medicine, and just working and learning from my different mentors as well. So that's pretty much how self-learned and information through all avenues of life. But just practicing and playing and meditating was my major source. You know,
Okay. So it was kind of a situation where Reiki led you to sound therapy. Do you want to give us some insight on what Reiki is?
well, Reiki is life force energy that we have, which is imbalanced with our chakras, and it comes from heaven's force and earth's force, and it comes through us to our heart and out our hands. And I was attuned by Brenda Sanders. She was my Reiki master, and we went through different phases, 1, 2, and 3, and we also attended the same spiritualist church where we did Reiki in the church, in the back before services. So I was associated with a lot of like-minded people, and everybody had certain avenues where they were good at, and I just chose to deal with the Reiki. And it's just like having a child, one of your children, and they're not feeling well, and your intentions of the love that comes through God to your heart and out your hands, and you wrap your arms around that child and you comfort that child. That is a good explanation on Reiki's energy. And you can use energy magnetic tools to just vibrate energy that is also healing as well.
Okay, so talk to us about how Reiki actually works. How do you facilitate a session in which you're coming to someone and they're saying, "Hey, I have I have a plane or I have an ache or something," and then you administer Reiki. How does that work?
Well, first of all, we pray and on the intentions of what is needed, and then they would lay on a table. I went to Hitchcock for treatment myself, and I went back to Hitchcock, and we had a Reiki share there for over 20 years at Hitchcock for Women on Ansel Road, and they would come and sit down and lay on the tables, and we all gather and pray, and then we lay hands and our intentions for whatever's ailing them. We move on the body in rhythmic ways. So I would start from the feet, or I'd start from the head, and I'll ask permission to touch them or just lay my hands. But you can actually, right now, you could put your hands together and feel your energy, your life force energy that you automatically have, that was given to you from the God of your understanding. And you can move in vibration with your hands, and you can literally feel the energy there. But once you're attuned, it gets stronger, and then you can put that wherever is needed. When I'm doing my facials, because I'm an esthetician and I have been since 1999, And I incorporate all of this inside of when I'm doing a facial. I check a person's energy force around them with a pendant such as this, and
Yes.
I would check each chakra and find out if, like, if I put it at the top of their head, you know, if it doesn't spin out in the auras, and in the third eye, and then the throat chakra here. I'm kind of in balance. I've been meditating. And then the heart chakra. If it spins out, then it's out of balance. And then an inch above the belly button, okay, is the solar plex. And an inch below is the sacrum. And then the root chakra, which sits on your spine. Actually, I'm in balance, which is a pretty good thing.
Yes. So for the benefit of those who are listening on the radio are not able to see, what just happened is she has a crystal that is attached to a chain or something, and she was holding it in front of her various chakras, and it did not revolve. So you're saying that if it spins in one direction or another, that's giving you feedback on the condition of the chakra, and then perhaps there's something you can do energetically to restore the balance to that chakra.
Yes, energetically, I would use different sprays from the chakras that I have for each one. Like, this is my heart chakra. It's, you know, the color is green, but it's a formulation of different oils that I use, and I spritz it in the air over them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
the essence goes in and it clears up and balances out the energy. And this is the tuning fork that I would hit and work in that heart chakra right here. And I lay it on there, and that'll help tune the heart. You know, but
Okay.
it starts from the person. Everything's about the person and their energy. So, and the megahertz on this is 136.10. And the vibration of the sound helps the healing into a cellular level.
Okay. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Each chakra, I'm assuming, has a certain frequency that's associated with it. And when you want to affect each chakra, then you tune into the frequency that's assigned to that chakra. And the energy exchange is something that is able to create healing, or it's
Yes.
also perhaps able to eradicate some type of negativity. For
Well,
instance,
it's a imbalance and a balance. And
okay.
at certain points, we could be a little bit or a lot. It depends on what's going on in our soul and in our body and in our spirit. You know, so the sound waves produces this frequency, like the third eye's frequency is 221.23. And when you use this one for the throat chakra, and I work that point, and I spray my oils, and then they inhale the oils, and I spritz it, and they can take that home with them and use it in their shower gel and lotions and body oils. So it's
Okay.
just a meditation of love, giving back to that energy point, and feels that vortex with vibrational sound energy that goes in and heals at a cellular level.
Okay. You know, it's interesting, RJ. I know a few people who are affected by thyroid program problems, and I want to bring Brother Antonio into this conversation because I'm remembering a conversation that we had with John Butler, and he
Oh,
was
I
talking
remember.
about the thyroid, and a person was experiencing some thyroid issues, and what he said was that they were having issues with using their voice, and because they weren't able to use their voice, they had some physical issues, and the way to clear up that situation was to do some work on the thyroid. You just talked about a frequency that affects the throat chakra, and I'm just wondering if there's some type of correlation between the throat and the thyroid, because folks
Absolutely.
who aren't okay, I'll let you explain that.
Well, the vibration of the throat chakra is 141.27 megahertz. And once you put it by the ear and listen to it, and then at the tip of it, I would work on that. I would use all of the essence of the oils, the tuning fork, and Reiki for that treatment. And
Okay,
if
and
it's
that's
a male, I would go clockwise with my movements. If it's a female, I would go counterclockwise.
okay. So what we saw you do was strike the tuning fork, but we couldn't actually hear it. Is there something about a vibration that you can actually feel?
Yes, you could feel it just like listening to you play the keyboard or listening to a flute. Each sound has its own frequencies. Like on your keyboard, you
Mm-hmm.
go to your B note or your C note in the middle of your keyboard. That's its own frequency.
Right.
And see, you can go from ear to ear. I had an earache the other day, and I just used. I could use between the third eye and the throat chakra, and I did the frequencies around my ears, and it's a
Okay.
beautiful sound, and I let it go through the whole.
Yes. We see that you're using the
Yeah, and you go through the whole session of it. You don't break it
Hmm.
up.
yeah.
Hmm. You're welcome to
Okay.
come over and get treatments. I've invited you. So whenever you're ready, you can see it live in living color.
Okay. All right. Brother Antonio, did you have questions for RJ?
Well, not necessarily questions, but comments and some things for our listening audience to think about. This is something that, for the last several years that I've been really trying to tap into, which, dealing with energy and consciousness is energy and just basically what our purpose is and who we are as human beings. And I think, understanding come with, because, this is something that Western culture and Western society cannot give us. And I believe have a lack of understanding. If they do have it, they're not giving it to us openly, understanding that this is all about frequency. It's all about energy, everything. And so
Yes,
this is why we this has validity in what we're talking about right here. Everything. How, if you recall back how Dr. Roy Rife deal with negative energy, which cancer, because everything has a frequency. Everything is about energy, including us. When you're dealing with entanglement, we are connected, and everything gives off a vibration from flowers to mute. I mean, from the colors to music
yes,
to the thing, like, of course, the things you hear, the things you see, all of it is about frequency and sound and vibration. There's all interconnected. So of course, then once you start approaching things with that in mind and understand, because you can go through these emotional mishaps and not understanding why you may be feeling this way or this, that, and other. It's the energy. It's the
yes,
energy around you.
absolutely.
Is yeah, and and we get bits and pieces of it. And we say, I don't know, I just didn't feel something right there. Oh, the energy around it is thick around here. That's a real phenomenon.
It
you
is.
know and so understanding that, and what our ancestors did in Egypt, and then with our brothers over in Africa in the motherland, and dealing with the drum, and they call that the heartbeat and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And you wonder why you feel this good, and you wonder why black folks with all this melanin like the bottom of all that music, that boom 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 boom, and that
yeah,
bottom bass is the one that's driving you, that is resonating and hitting certain frequencies and certain chakras in the body, or certain energy centers, in the body,
Mhm.
because if people don't understand chakra, certain energy centers that are in the body that is resonating and causing you to feel a certain way. You know
Exactly.
that person is singing, hit that note, and that hair stands on the back of your head. That's a
Mhm.
frequency. That's that energy that you feel. And so
Yes.
if we operate with that kind of understanding, then we be mindful of what's around us, what's I mean, who is around us, what we take into our personal space, far as energy and stuff to help you, just calm you down when you may be a little bit um on the edge a little bit, and you wondering why our young brothers and with the industry using that 440 hertz, you wonder why they feeling a little bit crazy and energetic and can't sit still and it's the music that they're listening to. So it's all
Exactly.
about frequency. So our audience need to take what Sister RJ is saying, take it in, and there's some serious validity into that, and start incorporating those things into your daily, because the system, I believe they do know about frequency, so they're interjecting or engaging these frequencies and to keep us off balance and keep you unhealthy and things like that. So you got to be aware of that.
Oh,
Thank
they
you.
definitely know about how sound frequencies affect
Mm,
us, and they use
mm-hmm.
them daily to affect the quality
Yes.
of our lives. So,
Yes.
RJ, you kind of mentioned it at the top of the program. Each chakra has a musical note that's assigned to it. You also talked about how each chakra has a frequency that's assigned to it. So let's talk about the sound and the color. You talked about how chakras can be blocked, and we can talk about how to unblock those chakras and the
Mhm.
impact of unblocking the chakras.
Oh, what I love the most about unblocking chakras is right to the soul about the intentions. I speak to my nieces and nephews and grandnieces and nephews all the time, and it's about visualization. Visualizing the positive of what you want will keep you balanced. Wearing the colors of the chakras. If I'm going on if I got to speak at a meeting or do something, I'm wearing blue to help raise the vibration up for the throat chakra to be able to communicate out. Each chakra helps for me, and I've noticed it every time. When I went to play down at the Allen Theater in September, in fact, you produced the music for me, and I really appreciate you doing that. I wore red because I was grounded and I was centered and I was happy and glad to be there. And I was able to just interject that energy out there and got a lot of good feedback. And then I also have my stones. Um, I associate crystals along with the tuning forks and the bowls and the oils. All of it kind of goes together, and the energy. And when I'm working on someone, like say we were still talking about the throat, I would put a lapis stone, a blue lapis stone on the throat chakra, and work on them, allowing all of the energies to combine to help heal. And that was my whole purpose for the community, to play the bowls, because if a person has had a history of abuse or had any kind of trauma in their life, a consistent listening of the bowls can go in and calm that energy and take it down to a lower level to give them a peace of mind. We had did an event, I think it was last summer or summer before, and it was bringing the people that had trauma with the loss of their children, and I was sitting next to a girl who had lost her daughter, and I started working on her hands, doing that figure 8 movement, and I was also playing the bowls at the same time, and I had her doing that. it's quite effective once your intentions is for the best thing for your well-being. And that's the key to it all. You know, the notes in music, there's certain music and sound. I love the flute, I love the violin, but the higher that frequency goes in, just like the sound of the bows. And I like to just kind of, the sound resonates. I could have anything going on and come in this space and attune myself. And we could do it at home. We could do it at home by just sitting in quiet, just having a peace of mind and just sitting still and getting in touch with your third eye. That's being intuitive and connecting with your crown chakra to your source and letting all of this rain down. I did a meditation this morning and I just let it come all the way through my chakras and come all the way back up, to prepare myself to be at peace. And peace of mind, you can have it. You can have it because you can either choose to have it or not. It's just those two. So that's pretty much the key that I wanted to share and get across to my community because it's so well needed. I worked with Joe Jones, the councilman for Ward 1, and I was going to do an event where we were going to have a community sound bath over at Douglas Center
Frederick
on
Douglass Center.
Miles.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't get the funding for it, but I know it's coming. It's coming because it's in divine right order for our community, just to come. And then I was giving away, different sound instruments so that people could take them home, like rattlers and little drums and different things. Because the more we get this in our community, the less violence it'll be. Because this is the key to healing our community.
I want to jump back to something that we talked about earlier, and basically, it's just how sound is used against us. So, what you've established is that if we tune in to the vibrational quality of a sound, it can have a healing effect on us. I'm thinking about how you could be riding down the street, right?
Yeah,
And then somebody in a car pulls up next to you and they've got this real heavy bass beat, and the bass is so heavy that it's rattling the metal on the car, it's rattling the metal in your car,
been there, done
basically
that. Hmm.
rattling your nerves. So at that point, you become extremely uncomfortable just because of the impact that that sound is having on you and the negativity that it conjures in your spirit. But on the other hand, you can sit in a room and use a tuning fork. You can use any of those bowls that you just mentioned. And I think there are 7 bowls that you have shared with us, each having a corresponding note that goes to an association with a chakra, and all the chakras are assigned to certain aspects of yourself. So when you tune into this sound, it just creates something positive and beneficial in your body. So just knowing this, knowing that we can get a device, get a bowl, get a tuning fork or something like that, and use it and have that sound reverberate through us, we have an ability to change the paradigm that we're living in. I just happen to be a musician, and so I spend hours in practice. And sometimes when I'm practicing, I might play a chord, or I might play a scale, or I might play a note, and I just receive the vibration that's coming through that instrument to me. And as I do this process, it seems as though I'm in a meditative state, that I can
Exactly.
actually be in this state and be in trance and be in control of what I'm doing at the same time. It's really a powerful way to create a positive environment around yourself so that you take yourself
Exactly.
away from the negativity that exists in this world. Because I just happen to believe that there are certain powers that be, so to speak. And for whatever reason, it seems as though their mission is to make things as uncomfortable for
Mm,
us as they could possibly be, so that we can stay in this mind state that has us stressed, has us depressed, has
Mhm.
us worried, has us experiencing all these negative emotions that prevent us from elevating our vibrational, elevating our spirit, elevating our whole mindset so that we can see the world in a positive way. You know, it's really interesting, RJ, that some folks are saying that we are living in the best of times. And when
Mhm.
we look at all the things that are going on in this world, we think, well, what reason do we have to have any kind of sense of hope? Because everything that's being thrown at us is giving us this idea that the world is coming to an end, that there's global warming, the world is going to blow up at some point. And so we could just throw our hands in the air and say, well, why should we fight it? Let's just go along with it. But when we have access to tools like these and we can change our mindset just by using sound to elevate our spirit and also to create a certain modicum of healing within our body so the things that are affecting us in a negative way can be reversed. Talk to us
Well,
about some of the others, because we mentioned red, we
yeah,
mentioned blue, and we mentioned green, but there's
yes.
also orange, there's also
Well, to
indigo and
answer
violet. Yeah.
your question, there's with that when that boom box hit my ear, man, I take me 3 deep breaths and I get to spirit. I get to spirit. I center myself and get on away from that car as quick as I can. But what I do every day is I ground myself. I ground myself. This is a grounding tool right here. I made these spoons. They're sterling silver spoons, and I put chakra pendants and copper on them, and stones on them, and you rub it in that figure 8 on your feet before you go out that door. I have my sage. I have my bottles of sage and I spray with my sage, or I light and sage myself going in my house, coming out my house. I sage. And then I stay focused on my primary purpose. On my primary purpose, and that is to stay centered with spirit. And God in spirit is walking in front of me for guidance, on the side of me as my companion, and behind me as
mm,
my protection. And I don't live out of fear. So I pray that everyone would have a grounding, white light visualization of protection and a tool to keep them calm. And I don't listen to a lot of negativity. And when I do, I pray about it and pray for the highest good for all involved and keep it moving. I stay in my lane and I know that I'm living in a time of grace and mercy, and I'm receiving the blessings that my ancestors are handing out. So I
Okay.
don't, but I love, I can, I love, okay? You know, I feel,
mhm,
I love, and this is, I speak,
mhm.
and I know, and God is. Each color represents
I'm gonna
a certain
that
energy that will bring them up.
right.
Because this is about security, the red, sexuality, the wound for the woman and the man. And then this one is self esteem and self worth, yellow. And then the heart is I give love and I receive love. The voice is the color blue with the throat chakra. You're speaking out good. You're not cussing people out. You're getting good energy. You're balanced. Okay, and the third eye is I intuitively feel all the energy from my ancestors that's coming to me now, and I freely give it. And then I know the God of my understanding. He guides me every day.
Interesting.
Yes.
One, hmm one thing. One thing, Sister RJ, a couple things come to mind. I want to try to get in, and also for our listening audience to understand. Um, Covering your head, now we all can agree, and we just kind of gave a few examples of a lot of energy that is flowing amongst us.
Yes.
That could be directed to us and very intentionally. Um, I know a lot of people from the East cover their heads in order to kind of stay focused on certain things. And I think us in the West, we kind of backwards on a lot of stuff. And it's like I say again, Vince, when we talk about it, that could be very intentional that they have us back. Because even when you enter a sanctuary, when you're out in the East, you take off your shoes when you enter a sanctuary. You know what I mean? And they keep their head covered in order to block out any negative energy and helping them stay focused. Here in the West, you uncover your head, but you just got through walking through somebody's ugliness in the streets and on the sidewalk that they don't put on the sidewalk, and you walk straight into the sanctuary. So I'm just saying that's why I study Eastern philosophy, because it makes most sense than what the system that we're following here. But what I wanted to get us tuned into a little bit, and I don't know if you can speak on it or not, because we talk about this vibration and we talk about this energy. What about the Earth's vibration? Is there certain times of the season and the year that we should be doing certain things? Because we kind of talk about this a little bit, and I mean, I guess we have to be acknowledged, and it's probably very important to do this thing at your house and get you realigned, because through technology now, they have all these negative frequencies that's all around us, dealing with the 5G, dealing with the music,
Yes.
everything that's coming at us, and it's negating, and it's actually having a negative effect of you being able to be in touch with the creator. That's why it's so important for us to get out in nature, go hug a tree, or do something to kind of
Yes.
line ourselves. So I see this connection between the planet and meditation and all the rest of that things is very important. And lastly, what is the frequency for the nervous system? Because I'm working with some things with my brother. He's not feeling good right now, so we're looking at other modalities and dealing with it. So he's dealing with a nervous system issue, brain nervous system issue. So what's the
Crown.
frequency for that?
The
Yeah,
crown chakra.
yes. Mm-hmm.
It's the crown chakra. And that frequency is
172. Okay.
172.06. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can go right in the top of the head. Do you have like a tuning fork, like with a
Yes.
magnifier on the back of it? This is called the sonic slider.
I think so. I don't. I have to look at the ones, the numbers. I don't remember the frequencies that we have. We have about three or four of them, but I don't. I have to look at the numbers on it.
This has an activator on the top of it. It has little grooves in the holes, and once you strike it, you can go. I have my sister has Parkinson's, and I work on her,
Mm-hmm.
and I move this around her head and down her neck,
Mm-hmm.
in the back of her head, especially in the back,
Hmm.
in the nervous system, and you have meridian points as well
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that you can hit.
Hmm. Right.
And
Right.
there's some in the forehead, across the forehead, because I do meridian points on the face, acupressure points. I press them with an acupressure pen that I use, and
Okay.
I can hit the points, and then behind the ear, and at the back of the neck, and around the neck.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be able to 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 give you some more information on that. Actually, I don't have my charts down here, but
Hmm.
um, I have I could share some things with you on that.
Okay.
Okay. Just want to remind the listeners that you're listening to 360 Info Network on AM 1490 WERE. Our guest is Sharon Arjay Johnson. She is a sound consultant and she's also very well versed in Reiki. Also, want to remind you that you can access this broadcast on the radio and on the internet. We are now streaming live to YouTube and Facebook. If you join us on either the Facebook or YouTube platforms, you can type a question into the comments and we'll be able to receive your question and actually pose it. So we got a question from Miss Brenda, our dear sister out there, who asks, thank you for sharing. Have you worked with children labeled as autistic? And if so, what were the results? Have you done any work with autistic children, RJ?
No, no, I have not. I've been working with my clientele that I've had since 2002, and but I do know of some people that have worked with them with the tuning forks, especially with the tuning forks. Yeah, artistic kids have been able to get a lot of healing results from the tuning forks. That has
Okay.
helped a lot.
All right. You also mentioned grounding, and Brother Antonio just talked about that. You know, when you think about hugging a tree or taking your shoes off and planting your feet on the ground, can you talk about the benefit of earthing?
Earth force energy is what I love the most because I'll be able to check a person's pulse at their ankles and tell if they're grounded or not. But these tuning mechanisms with that I have here, I'll put it up closer, but it's a spoon. And this helps ground you so you can open up the pathways, the energetic pathways at the bottom of your feet every day. You can do that. I like to work on the extremities because of the feet, the hand, and the head. It always corresponds with earth force energy and it brings it up to the heart chakra. And then the heaven's force comes down and it meets in a balance. So using the metal to help I had a sound bath here recently, and we all took off our shoes, and we all saged, and then we all were together, and we had it was a food ritual with all the chakra food. So that was special. But we all were grounding our feet at the same time with the metal spoons. So we were working with that. Um,
Okay.
that's a good way to keep it grounded. A lot of people aren't hip to this, so it's so important to ground yourself from that way. But you can also, we were speaking about the new moon is a good time when there's a new moon, and
Okay.
I can't wait till we get out of retrograde because it's been a doozy, this one. But the new moon has been a good time to get grounded. You know,
Yeah.
I would charge up my stones during that time. You know, I would just let the moonlight shine on me and just enjoy that energy uh, from the full moon to the new moon. I've always worked with that.
Okay. So you mentioned the new moon and you didn't mention the full moon, but we just had a full moon, I think, on the 26th and the 27th of December. And this is immediately following the winter solstice. And
Yes,
what I'm understanding about new moons and full moons is that they're good times to set intentions. Of course, having gone through the solstice and receiving the insight that we get from Dr. Brown, he talks about the importance of setting your intentions during the solstice because that's a time of year when your spirit is most receptive to the suggestions that you make to it, and it's akin to planting seeds. So you plant your seeds during the solstice, and then
Yeah.
as the year progresses, then they come into fruition. So that's a
In
good
the
to
harvest.
yes. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because people should realize that we have to be in tune with the cycles of nature. So the
Yes.
moon goes through its cycles, and you mentioned Mercury being retrograde, and
Oh my.
consequently, it's supposed to go direct on the 1st of January. So we got a couple more days of Mercury being retrograde, and some folk think, it's just an old wise tale.
Refrigerators have went out, cars have broke down, all kinds of things.
Stuff happens. I mean, we witness it on this program. It's like every 3 or 4 months that we go through Mercury retrograde, we have issues, but we do get through it as best we can. I just want to also invoke a couple more things that you brought up in your discourse. You had a spray bottle and you were spraying sage. So we've talked about how color impacts us. We talked about how sound impacts us. We talked about how we use healing energies through processes like Reiki. Let's for a few moments about how scents affect us. What is the impact of spraying the sage, for instance?
Well, the smoke, um, the smoke is a little strong. I do love it, but the spray, it clears away any kind of fog or negative energy. I just like to clean my space from anything that people have come in my house or whatever. I always, even at church, we would sage all the time. Just having a nice, pure energy around us, so that we could go into quiet meditation and do our work. Um, See, I like working for mental clarity with the sounds. So you could do baths, sound baths for all sorts of areas of the chakras, connecting the throat and the heart together, or and spraying the different sages clear out stagnation through those chakras. In my opinion, I like to use it because it freshens the air. Because we project from our body and our movements a lot of energy that we don't know what it's about, but it comes up and then we dismiss it from our beings. So that's why I use a lot of sage.
Okay.
And then I manufacture my own because I like my
Okay.
ingredients that I put in it.
All right. Well, that would be a perfect time for you to tell us where folks can go to get information about your products and your process.
Well, I've got a website and RS. Yeah, it's rjstouch.com, and we've got a website there, and we're connecting our store, but we're not connected as of yet. But you could feel free to call me at any time or send a message through that website, and I'll be available. But the universe doesn't speak English; it speaks frequencies.
It speaks frequencies. All right.
That's
This
true.
this is
That's,
this is my favorite saying. I have it on the back of my T-shirts that I wear. Everything.
hmm Right, right.
What does it say, Sharon, for those who can't see it?
It says the universe doesn't speak English; it speaks frequencies.
Okay. All right.
Right on, right on. hmm
All right. Well, we're kind of winding down here at 360 Info Network, but we definitely want to make sure that folks have a way to contact her. So you can go to her website. And as you can see, it is RJ's slash. Tell us the website real quickly. Dash touch.
RJ/touch.com.
Is it
RJ
dash or something?
dash touch.
.com. Yes. And we
Okay.
do sound baths. are available for anybody. The balancing, the tuning forks, the Reiki service. And of course, I didn't show you, but we do the colored glasses therapy, all the chakras right here. And you can wear these for 20 minutes and it'll change things around for you. And they're different glasses for each color of the chakras. Can you see it pretty
Yeah, we
good?
see.
Mhm. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people can, when they come over and we have sound baths, it's included in the sound bath where you can have a treatment of each chakra that you need. And it shows that I know, I see, I speak, I love, I can, I feel, and I have. So
Okay.
it kind of helps balance out everybody. So, and I do have them for sale.
Okay.
All right. Well, Sharon, we'd like to thank you for joining us on 360 Info Network. As always, quite resourceful and great information that folks need to know. As we wind down, we also want to let everybody know about the Kwanzaa events that are taking place. Today, you can go to the Golden Ciphers event. They are commemorating Nia today, and that's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. And that will be, I believe, the Phyllis Wheatley Association is at 4450 Cedar Road in Cleveland. So you can go there today and participate in the festivities. I see my brother Hamtonio is in his regal attire, and he will
Yes.
be attending and enjoying the festivities. And I'm gonna take this tie off and I'm gonna put on some garb myself. So
Okay.
we'll see you over there, and would like to invite everyone also to the community Kwanzaa today from 2 to 4:30, and that is at the Neighborhood Leadership Institute. It begins at 2 o'clock, and it's 5246 Broadway Avenue. Tomorrow at the Art Palace at 4 p.m., you can commemorate Kuumba with myself and Gwen Garth. We are going to commemorate Kuumba. So that is at
and that
1385 East 34th Street, between Superior and St. Clair, and that's right near downtown Cleveland.
and the African Museum is the last day
The
at,
African Museum is the last day, and I believe that one starts,
at
well, the
6. Is
time
it 5 or 6 or something like that? Yeah.
5 o'clock. They don't have the
So,
time on the poster. We want to
yeah.
thank everybody for listening. We also want to give a big ups to our engineer, Tone Harley, for pulling everything together for us. And as always, those of you who are listening and those who are watching, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, make today your best day. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you.